What's happening, guys? Today's video will be going to the Junction City car show, the function for Junction. We'll be checking out some cool cars there, and then after that, I'm gonna bring you back here to the shop. We'll do a little update on the Roadster. I did a bunch of stuff off camera. I'm itching to get going, and camera filming YouTube slows me down. So I got some stuff done. I'll show you guys what I did. I'm also going to show you installing a boxing plate on the frame. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get to the show. Junction City has a really great layout for this car show. It's one of the reasons that we come to it every year. They've got this neat train set up, and then they've also got a whole bunch of really old shops and stuff, old buildings, great architecture. It really creates a nice atmosphere for this show. It does get a little hot, and it's not on grass, and grass is pretty nice, but you know, if you bring comfy shoes, it can be a pretty fun show to come out to, bring the family. They have food, shirts, cups, and all kinds of stuff. So definitely worth stopping by and checking out. The Sledsel. I thought this thing was pretty slick. It's a little custom. Somebody sank some serious time and money into. But pretty cool little look. Of course, I'm going to start off with the hooligans. So there's Jason's fridge truck. There's Lowell's, I don't know, rat rod. This thing's pretty cool. Really a lot of little neat custom touches. New shifter. Look at his shifter. What? This is Jonathan's car. Jonathan has worked on this thing and put years and effort into it. It is all hand built, as you can see. Sorry, handmade. Pretty cool little car. Neat little custom. And here's Colt's Studebaker pickup. Just finally got this thing fired up and behaving right for the season. Always like stopping and saying hi to those guys. Hey, look, it's Bossa Nova Life. Go check out their channel if you haven't. Pretty neat content, and they're obviously covering the JC Show and Shine. Really dug this little car too. This one's for sale. Little Cuban cab and cigar company. It's got a neat little theme going on all the way through. Roadster update. I've been making some progress off camera. I got new bushings coming for the rear. I got to get new cams. I lost two of my brake shoe cams, so one side I can't put the shoes on. But I do have the backing plates on for the last time. I wire wheeled up the 37 rear end and got that coated in a little Krylon satin black. And we'll figure out ride height and everything with our spring pack. As much fun as that is to put it together and take it apart a bunch of times. But we'll figure that out here shortly. I also got the front brakes completely done. The drums are turned, they're on. The backing plates, shoes, everything's on there. Wheel cylinders are brand new. That's another thing. I'm probably going to have to buy wheel cylinders for the back here, like $50 a pair or something silly. But the whole front's pretty much together. We have new perch pins coming. They're the extended perch pins, and I got those because we're probably going to run tube shocks on the front of this thing. And those little lower perch pin tube shock mounts, those are a real easy way to go, and I think we're going to go that route here. But you got to have a longer perch pin. If you don't, you're only putting a couple of threads on that nut, and it's not a good idea. But the thing's coming together. We got fresh shackles and bushings on the front. And I just wanted to real quickly show you guys what I'm going to be doing as far as boxing the frame goes. I'm not going to box the whole frame on camera, but I want to show you guys what we're doing. This is 10 gauge. 10 gauge is plenty for boxing your frame. What I did is I just took a template here. I've already cleaned this up. I used a flat disc on it, cleaned it all, the rest up from where we're going to be welding. I templated this thing out, and I got it to where it sits just right. Fits just inside the frame rail there. And that's where you want it, in my opinion. And of course, there are a lot of ways to do things.
I'm y'all substitute teacher, so don't even think about messing with me.
But in my opinion, the strongest way you can do frame boxing is either to put your boxing plate inside the frame rail and weld it, or to do a reverse C box. And a reverse C box would be if I took this plate, and this plate had basically the shape of this frame, just a reverse C. This is in the shape of a C. You do it the other way, but smaller. So I would weld on reverse C and put that inside. And what that would do is it would double up the thickness on the top and bottom and give it a lot of rigidity. Another thing we're going to be doing here is stitch welding. Some of you might know about stitch welding. Some of you might not know about stitch welding, but stitch welding is where you just do a little 1 inch to 2 inch weld, and then you skip ahead, 4 or 5 inches, do a 1 to 2 inch weld, skip ahead 4 or 5 inches, 1 to 2 inch weld, and then you can come back after it cools and hit it again. But what you're doing is we're doing some really nice penetrating welds here, and you're not sinking too much heat into where you're warping your 100-year-old frame rails. So we don't want to do that. We want to use stitch welds. And in all honesty, the first round of stitches is usually plenty strong enough to hold everything together. But I like to go back and fill in the gaps because it looks a little prettier. But we're going to do boxing plates for the whole size of the frame. So this one will go here. There will be another one here that fits inside here and braces up the rear cross member. There will be one in between here, but probably not the full length, just because you get a lot of strength from the K member already, and then boxed on up. And it'll all be 10 gauge and should be pretty stout by the time it's all said and done. One nice thing about this is Roadsters are notorious for having the doors pop open and all kinds of issues, because Henry Ford designed these frames to be part of the suspension system. So they flexed and popped and moved. And when you have a car that doesn't have as much strength built into it, like with a coupe, which would have pillars and a roof holding it together, all that flexing makes your latches pop loose and all kinds of issues, cracks the body. So this will help with that. Now, the other side of that, though, is when you make this very rigid, there's always the next point of failure. So the next point of failure becomes your suspension. What you're doing is, instead of the whole frame having some of the suspension, now the frame is very rigid, and your wishbones are taking a little more abuse, and it just, your springs hitting it a little more, your shocks are getting a little more. So you do want to make sure you're doing a good job in designing and building your suspension, and recognize that your failure points probably aren't going to be the frame at this point. When you beef it all up with a K member and box plates, it's going to be your bones. It's going to be where you put the bungs in. It's going to be your tie rod ends. So keep a close eye on those, grease them, and make sure that you're looking for breaks, because hot rodding is dangerous and it's fun, but it can be done safe if you just routinely check for things like cracks, busting welds, bent stuff. Just throw a straight edge on your bones, make sure they're still straight, don't have a bend in them. Just basic checkup stuff to make sure you're not getting yourself in hot water, because there's not a lot of safety features on these things, and when they go, they come apart. And there's a lot of old pictures to prove that. They just come apart. And the goal back in the day was to get thrown clear. That was the idea. Get thrown away from the accident, because sitting in the car was not a survivable thing. So just keep it in mind. Safety checks. I don't want to harp on people, grown people, for how to build their cars and how to be safe, but I do want you to be safe. So I'm telling you, just in case some of you don't know, some of you might already, but let's go ahead and get these plates welded in. And I'll give you guys a quick little tour of all the things we've done so far and the things coming up. And we'll probably call it a video after that. For those of you who are new, yes, I weld in shorts and Crocs and t-shirts routinely. I also cut and grind. And yes, I have a whole bunch of scars and holes in me from doing it, but I'm a lot more comfortable. And sometimes you get to see me dance on camera when a piece of slag goes in the hole of the Croc. And no, I am not recommending you do that. I do it. My body, my choice. I get this thing positioned and get it tacked first, so we can move forward without having to worry about it moving on us. Just like that. That looks good. All right. Another thing I'll tell you guys real quick, I intentionally ran my K member inside the frame, and I am welding my boxing plate to the K member. That creates a square joint that when it's welded can't do. It just further strengthens this thing. So from the K member back, immediately becomes very rigid and sturdy. Okay, here is a good indicator for you guys of how this works. So just with that piece in, leaning on it, not a lot of give. Try this side. Tons of give. I don't know if you guys can see how much that's moving. This side's already barely doing anything. So much more rigid. All right, let's shut this welder off. Shut our gas off. So some of the stuff we've been doing off camera. Rear brakes. Cleaned up the rear end. Splashed a little paint on. Still need to do that leg. Haven't done it yet. Front wheels are on. Front brakes are on. Did the bushings for the kingpin and reamed them. I did a little short on that. If you want to check out my shorts. Check out my shorts. Get it? Both sides. New shackles and bushings. And they are not drop shackles. So we're just going to see how this thing is once the rear end's down on the ground. We'll see if the front's too high. If it's too high, we'll go back to drop shackles. But I want to avoid having to do that if at all possible. Who's that hiding over there?
That's my wife.
All right, guys, that's pretty much going to do it for this one. Hope you enjoyed. Hope the content is good. I hope this video's audio isn't screwed up. Really sorry about that last one. By the time I realized I had screwed up the audio, I had already deleted the footage to create space so I could record the car show. So I screwed up and feel really bad because everywhere where the audio was supposed to be quiet and I was supposed to be talking, nothing was happening. And everywhere where I was talking, the audio was through the roof. So it was almost unwatchable, and that just totally pissed me off. And I hope you guys weren't too bothered by it. I hope you got something from the video still. I put a bunch of work into that video just to have one little error screw it all up. So those are the breaks. I'm still a fairly new channel, and I've got some video editing background, but I'm squeezing this stuff in around kids, pregnant wife, all kinds of stuff. I'm doing the best I can. Hope you guys are digging it. If you guys aren't subscribed, I'd appreciate you subscribing. We're over 700 now, which is wild to me. We got 70 subs last month. That is also wild to me. Appreciate all of you. Appreciate those of you who are hitting the buy me a cup of coffee thing and helping out with the parts. It is huge. I'm able to order a few things. I ordered probably $120 worth of parts in the last couple of weeks. And that wasn't all from buy me a coffee, but it helps. And I just want to say thank you to all of you. And it helps keep the thing moving. And I have a handful of things left to buy. And it's not that much money, but it just adds up. But thank you. I appreciate it. My wife appreciates it. And hope you guys all are doing well. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Like, share, and subscribe. Talk to you later.